America, my name is Osei-Frimpong, and we're here talking about Bloomberg's money and what that means for democracy. A lot of people don't know democracy is a lot more fragile than you think, right? Just imagine you're playing Monopoly with a bunch of friends, and you're all playing Monopoly, and then one of your friends, rich friends, has some bad rolls, and they want to make deals with you. And instead of playing Monopoly money, all of a sudden that rich friend brings out their real money. It complicates the game a little bit, right? So Bloomberg has the kind of money that complicates the fragile conditions of democracy. I'll say that again. Bloomberg has the kind of money that complicates the fragile conditions of democracy. It's not as robust as you think it is. So it's not just about the ads you see. It's the fact that the ads are high quality and that you see them everywhere, right? And it's also like we're going to go into all the ways in which Bloomberg has figured out a way to like buy off your favorite pastor by paying off the church debt. So like if Bloomberg walks into your church, as black people, we know this is true. Bloomberg walks into your church and offers to pay off all the church debt and get that roof fixed. It's going to look like a sign from above. But really,
that is definitely the Lord's work.
That is definitely the Lord's work. It's going to be, and all he costs is an endorsement. Right? So it's going to be very complicated understanding like what Bloomberg's money does to democracy in a nation that like needs money, where people need money, and in order to do good work, you need money. So I was telling my friend, there's a way in which this is like Bloomberg will write laws that will cause pollution. And then when you organize to try to stop the pollution, he'll give you money for your organization in exchange for an endorsement. That's a situation we're in, and we're going to talk more about like how Bloomberg's money is being moved after the intro. Hit the beat, Matthew.
To the beat, y'all.
Yeah. Sound good to me. Never change the ways for the world or the government. If I was the president, then I would state facts. You leave it up to me, I paint the White House black and ain't no future in your front.
So you're seeing all these black mayors. You're seeing all these black mayors endorse Bloomberg. But you have to understand, on Monday, I got a call from two of my friends independently. It wasn't a call, it was a message. They said, I just got offered a job from Bloomberg's campaign at $10,000 each. $10,000 a month, I mean. $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month.
And that's two of my friends. Like, they got offered 10 G's a month, guaranteed through November. Right? So that's no small amount of money, black people. I mean, look, that's even white people money. That's just money. Now that's just me who gets that call. Apparently he has like 1,200 staffers and he's doubling it. So like a lot of people are getting that call. It starts at like $6,000 a month and then goes up to $10,000 a month. And Sin, you heard one of your friends?
I heard a story from a friend that they are not a Bloomberg supporter, but they will gladly take that $10,000 a month to be a field organizer, which is what they're doing.
Right. And they took the job.
Oh,
All right. So
I mean, let's not go lie. I'd take
$10,000 a month. I would do a lot of things.
I'll take it.
We take this job.
I would take a lot. I would do a lot of things.
We were willing to do Blaine's job for far less.
And that's a lot more job, right? So that's what we're talking about. So he's hiring up talent. He's just you can buy. We're trying to pretend that you can't buy black people because it's not slave days, but you can buy a lot of Negroes for $10,000 a month. Like, yeah, that's the part of being poor in America. Yeah.
And when someone just pointed out that I'm not voting for him. That's not the point. It's not about who's going to vote for him.
You're
those
organizing
endorsements.
voters.
Yeah, those endorsements are telling other people, hey, vote for him.
Vote for him.
You may be smart enough to be like, well, I'll take his $10,000 and not go vote for him.
But the people you're telling, yeah, like your vote doesn't matter. So there's a way in which I also had a family friend this morning tell me, well, Obama endorsed Bloomberg, so it can't be that bad. Number one, Obama didn't endorse Bloomberg. There's a commercial I haven't seen floating around that makes it look like Obama endorsed Bloomberg. And
editing is amazing.
Editing is an amazing thing, number one. Two, you would think, well, why doesn't Obama just repudiate it? Well, I suspect that's complicated. Obama's not trying to pay for his library himself.
And as we've said repeatedly, he ain't trying to share the money with community organizers.
He's not trying to share. Obama's very rich, but he's not trying to pay for everything himself. So if you tick off Bloomberg, not only does he not give anymore, he might make a few phone calls, and then you end up like buying your own foundation. So Obama's going to be a little bit quiet. Obama's going to be a little bit quiet and make it seem
At least about Mike.
Yeah.
At least about Bloomberg.
At least about Bloomberg. So let's start rolling, right? So give me the employee stuff, right? So sushi. Let's talk about so you get this 10K a month job. You know what you get?
Hold
in
on.
addition to that 10K a month job?
Did you say sushi?
Well, there's sushi involved too. But first, in addition to 10K a month, every Bloomberg staff member gets a MacBook Pro and an iPhone 11 on their first day and 3 catered meals.
Hold on. That's every staff member.
Every staff member. Of the 2,000 staff members. We don't know what $60 billion is. We think, oh, that's so generous. Actually, it doesn't.
He got a bulk discount.
Yeah. Not only does he get a bulk discount, people think that Bloomberg is buying the crops in this election. No, he's buying the crops, the soil, the farmer, the ground, the air around it. We have checks and balances in our democracy. I'm a systematic philosopher, so I appreciate it. He systematically wrote down all of the checks and balances and is just ticking them off.
With checks.
With checks. He's buying off every level of checks and balances in our democracy. Democracy is a lot more fragile than you think, right? So it's not just that he's saturating you with ads. He's pretty soon going to be saturating you with paid people knocking doors who are going to be very happy because they have all of the best equipment.
You don't even have to be management to get a MacBook Pro
and an iPhone 11 and 3 catered meals a day. I know people who just do it for the nice food.
Yeah.
Including me most of my life.
I'm about to say.
All right, so let's go on to that.
Nice food has gotten me out to many an
and
event.
then give me the sushi. There was one about, all right, so and also all of the events. Oh, so the rally, right? So all of his rallies, most of the rallies are standing out, you're cold, whatever. All of his rallies are catered.
And the wine is free.
And free wine. It might be $2 chuck or whatever, but it's all free.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it.
You walk into a rally and you get free booze and good food. It might be heavy hors d'oeuvres. It might not be. And if it's heavy hors d'oeuvres, it's nice. It's nice. It's Gouda, not Kraft, man. So keep giving this to me. Give me the. So let's talk about the endorsements you're seeing, right? So you're seeing endorsements from mayors, lots and lots of mayors. Right now, the Athens-Clarke County Commission is in New York at a mayor symposium or elected official symposium where they'll probably be getting a bunch of propaganda. But I bet it's very nice, right? And this reminds me of the time I spent a little bit of time in Indonesia doing some NGO work with my wife. And I was in Indonesia, and so we'd be on this random island with a bunch of beautiful trees. And there's a palm oil company. Palm oil's in everything, right? So you don't know, but palm oil's in everything from soap to it's all palm oil. So the palm oil company would descend, pay a few locals and organizers to hand out propaganda and then talk to the people who can't read. But also the palm oil company would fly the local leaders over to Jakarta. And these are nice people, but kind of country people. Fly them to Jakarta, wine and dine them for 3 or 4 days, and then fly them back, and then all of a sudden
they're the nicest people in the world. I mean, look at all the nice things they did for us.
So that's number one. That's one way you get local officials, especially Athens. I'll be honest, our Athens officials got rolled on the last referendum, the SPLOS referendum, if you know. So these aren't the most sophisticated people. You take them to New York, you give them everything, they'll come back and be your friends. This isn't. I look forward to the day that our Athens-Clarke County people endorse Bloomberg because he just seems like such a nice guy. And you have to imagine this is especially going to work in the South, where black people have been functionally locked out of statewide real power since Reconstruction. So if you're just one of these Negroes who says, "Well, government ain't going to do nothing for me anyway," you're gonna do it for sushi.
$90,000. I mean, till December, that's $90,000 in 1 year.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about the 10K a month. Yeah. So, and then let's say like it's not even a private
And I
thing.
don't cook.
Let's say it's not even a private thing, that you actually have the public good in mind. I told you before, Bloomberg's one of those guys who will poison your water, and then when you try to organize to clean the water, he'll give you a check and for cleaning the water, like for your organization. You'll think that guy's nice. He gave me a check to clean the water. Right. So here is, I think Stacey Abrams is one of the smartest people I've ever met. And around smart people. I've been around smart people for 20 years. Smartest people I've ever met. But smart doesn't mean money. So give me the Stacey Abrams. Go ahead. Put that up first. Right. So Fair Fight is the name of Stacey Abrams' group. And Fair Fight, make it a little smaller so the whole thing's in the screen. So pretty much I went to the FEC and the webpage. I do a little bit of work for you guys. And like Bloomberg gave Fair Fight $5 million on December the 20th. Right? And that's Stacey Abrams' group. Right? So this isn't, and now Mike Bloomberg's going to be a keynote or an invited guest who's going to speak at the next Fair Fight function. I think that's coming next week. And Fair Fight's just a group to end voter suppression. That's not a bad thing. Except Mike Bloomberg is the kind of guy who supports policies that lead to black voter suppression. Right? So, Fair Fight. You have to take her money because if you're Stacey Abrams, you want black people to be able to vote. And that's a good fight. And it takes money to build an organization. But so it just seems like, well, I'll take his money, but I won't really support him. But are you really going to talk against him? Are you really going to weigh into this stop and frisk discussion that's going on right now and jeopardize that $5 million check? So he's bought, if not your endorsement, he's bought your silence.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that at that point, you're thinking about all the good you're going to do with that $5 million
And this is
outweigh.
You hear crappy white people tell you this all the time. I need to make a lot of money so that I can give more away.
Yeah.
You crappy white people. That's the liberals love saying that. And this is and sometimes they divide the labor. The husband will be the asshole, and the wife will give all the money away, and they'll justify it as like a family unit thing. All right. So this still isn't quite all in the screen. And then also the House Majority PAC. That's that's the DNC's PAC to try to get money for Democrats to take back the House, right? $10 million. That's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. So he's pretty much bought
for the rest of us.
He's bought for the rest of us. And be very careful. That's very important.
Yes.
For the rest of us, we think, wow, he's really a committed Democrat. No, because that's not ideological for him. That's not even chump change. When you have $60 billion, that's like a week's worth of interest that you've made passively.
Yeah.
When you're worth $60 billion, right? So he spent $10 million. And that's funny because it just so happens, give me the DNC, the DNC's in chat. It took out a credit card back about 6 months ago for $10 million. Like the House is different than the whole Democratic committee, but the DNC is not making money, right? The DNC is spending more than it's making, so it needs money. So I told you before, Mike Bloomberg, you have to worry about him being bought because he's the one who's buying the party. Yes. And since this is his personal money, this isn't like there are no checks on it because in America we don't tell people how to spend their personal money. Candidates can only give $2,700 to other people, but if you're spending it on yourself, we let you do whatever you want because it's your own money. Right? We don't tell people how to spend their money. Right, but this is a problem. We don't
tell rich people how to spend their money. We tell poor people they can't how to spend their money all the time.
Man, we tell poor people how to spend their money all the time. We judge them. We judge them. We cut off their welfare based on how they're spending their money. You got your nails done. You don't get welfare.
I've had this conversation multiple times. We hate poor people.
We hate poor people. So also give me the what's that one?
It's the GOP opposition.
Oh, yeah. So let's say, well, at least he's a committed Democrat. Our billionaires are better than their billionaires. So he's a committed Democrat. First of all, he's been a Democrat since 2018. He spent about 15 years as a Republican, and then an independent. So he also funds GOP opposition. When he was the Democratic governor or the independent governor of New York, he funded GOP opposition.
So he pays whoever is going to vote the way
Against
he
him.
wants.
So because you need the appearance of legitimacy, you need the appearance of opposition. But this opposition is going to be like, oh no, don't do that, Mike Bloomberg. So, oh no, as he's buying, as he's
they eat
eating his
sushi.
sushi. Yeah. Oh no, Mike Bloomberg, that's an awful thing you do. So he's buying his opposition. So he's going to get what he gets through, but it's going to be what he wants. At $60 billion, you're your own special interest. Like, you're not even an industry. You are the industry.
I'm thinking about how many places I've shown up to that I don't want to be at for pizza.
For pizza, yeah. Like all the things I'll do for money. Not forget, and that's not even the MacBook Pro and iPhone 11.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here right now like, I could work.
And so like he can straight up, and this is when he was a mayor buying state senate. Like, because sometimes the like in New York, the state had some juice, right? So you're like, well, he can't do that on the national scale with Congress. Now give me Mickey Sherrill. All right, so there's a picture of her too. All right, so yeah, give me that article first. All right, so Mike Bloomberg, Mickey Sherrill is a congressperson who just endorsed Mike Bloomberg. You're like, why is Mickey Sherrill endorsing Bloomberg this early? Well, it turns out, give me the other. It turns out Bloomberg spent $2.2 million to elect Mickey Sherrill.
Yeah.
And $4.5 million to elect Harley Ruda. You know who else Harley Ruda endorsed? Mike Bloomberg. So give me the Mickey Sherrill. He endorses, like, he pays. He's not just a rich guy like Trump who's rich but doesn't give money. He's a rich guy like Bloomberg, which is a completely different animal.
That smile is $2 million.
That's a $2 million. Like, that's like, he can pay for an entire Congress. I did the math about what 235 seats times 2 point, I can't remember the number now, but like it's about it's $500 million. But if you have $60 billion, $500 million
$500 million
for an entire Congress isn't like that much. Our democracy is not made for this. So he can buy himself an entire Congress. And if you try to primary one of his people, he's going to outspend you. So you can't really primary his people either if you're a Democrat who wants to get rid of the corrupt Bloomberg Democrat. So he can buy himself an entire Congress. Our democracy is not built for that. Like, he just ticked off all the checks and balances. So it's not just the ads. It's all of the organizations. And now, since we're black people, sometimes we're busy and we'll just kind of go with what our famous organization is going to endorse. If he can buy your organization, if he can buy the NAACP chapter, if he can buy your Urban League chapter, if he can buy like your favorite pet cause, the organization, then when the organization endorses him, you're just going to go with it. So this is going to work in every black red state. In the Deep South, this is going to work. Right? Today, do you have the Michael Thurman, or did you not have time to? Yeah, today Michael Thurman endorsed Bloomberg. Michael Thurman's one of the 25 most respected Negroes in Georgia.
Yes.
Is that my overstating the case?
No.
No, and for the people who over 50, he might be in top 15. I think he held a statewide office, right?
Yeah. He also owns the only black radio station in town.
He owns the only black radio station in town. Do you think I'm going to be able to go on that station and talk like this now? I don't know. And Michael Thurman's a good guy.
Yeah.
No. He is a good guy. And he also makes, decent money. He's the head of the DeKalb County schools. Right. So, he has money, but maybe he has projects, right? And he also has debts. And he's probably got like nephews and like
and he doesn't have Mike Bloomberg money.
He doesn't have Mike Bloomberg money, which means he's like, even for his good project, he might need a little bit of extra money for his good public project. That's what Bloomberg money means. He bought Michael Thurman. In Georgia, that means something. That name means something. All of these mayors who really, when you see a black mayor endorse Bloomberg, don't think the black mayor is corrupt. Just think the black mayor is under-resourced. They don't have the tax revenues to get what they want. So instead they go to, give me the Bloomberg philanthropies. So Bloomberg set up a fund so that mayors can apply for these innovation grants. Right? So these black mayors, and there have been no small number of them, have been endorsing Bloomberg. And city managers too. And these aren't people, these people up to $2 million, right? $2 million, right? So like these are people who are actually public minded. It's not corruption necessarily because it's not going into their pockets, but like they'll be able to do good things for their cities.
And people will remember that and be happy about that. And then you will see them going, oh, Mike Bloomberg, not a bad guy.
Not a bad guy. Not Mike Bloomberg fixed my school. Mike Bloomberg got me, like there'll be Bloomberg grants and scholarships. And
I mean, if he fixes Flint's water problem right now, we would. I mean,
like Oprah money can't unilaterally fix water supply, but Bloomberg money might be able to. Or he could at least buy enough state representatives in order to fix the school system.
Yeah.
Like LeBron money might be able to like fund a school. Bloomberg money can buy a state legislature to fund all of the schools. Like you understand what that means, right? So all of these black endorsements, it doesn't mean they're necessarily corrupt. It just means that our democracy can't handle someone, the ninth richest man in the world, willing to spend a few $1 billion of his billions to become president and get his way. Right? And what he's offering is just the end of self-determination. Right? He's saying like, look, you don't just worry about your own little project. Don't worry about governance. I'll take care of that. And for black people who've been locked out of governance functionally, and if you don't have statewide governance, you're locked out. These little mayors, they don't have statewide governance because anything that sounds like a pretty good deal. So he's going to get ads, saturate the ads for the unsophisticated, and then saturate the money for the sophisticated. And like, he's just going to be buying up. He's going to win the Georgia primary. He's going to win the Southern primaries. He's going to win the Southern primaries. And it's not going to be close. Bernie's got strong 20%. Nobody's going to mess with him for that. But he's going to win the Southern primaries. And it's going to be because he's going to not just buy the top people who could be bought. He's going to buy all the way down. Give me the Instagram. Is there an Instagram?
I'm terrified of what his ticket looks like.
So, like, if you just like say nice things about him on Instagram, you just got 150, just bomb, in your Cash App.
What? What?
Like he's paying. You need to have a few insifies. You need to find. I think these are many mid-level. If you have,
I just deleted my Twitter account and am no longer an influencer.
For like, I think if you have like between 2,000 and like 7,000 followers, if you just say nice things about them, like just boom, $150. Just like,
y'all can't see the look on my face right now, but I literally just
people listen. People listen to what their friends tell them to. Like people vote the way their friends tell them to vote. And so that matters. That matters. And you're like, well, at least he's spending the money. But like he has a functionally infinite amount of money. If that number went up to $300, he would do that too. He just thinks he can buy these people for $150, so he is.
Start watching influencers on YouTube and who are in the political field and start seeing how many people suddenly start being all nice about Mike Bloomberg.
Look, Mike Bloomberg could give me $5 million and I would have some hard conversations because you know what I could do with $5 million? What this show could be for $5 million? It would be daily with better lighting. It would come on time every week. It would be daily because I'd be able to train. No. It wouldn't be me though. I'd be able to train a squad of people who could like give you the quality of news. I would just be able to be a special guest, pop in. But I would like an institute. I would have my own property. It would be the Funky Academic Studios. for $5 million,
and,
I'd buy this block.
I was thinking about that. The whole idea is that you go, well, if we educate the electorate enough, they won't fall for it. Right. So it's okay to take the money.
So if Mike Bloomberg just said $5 million, I support what you're doing, $5 million, I would have to have like a lot of meetings with people like about whether to take that money, because I could do a lot of good for $5 million, which is why you should go to thefunkyacademic.com. Because I'm taking myself out of Bloomberg money by doing this kind of, by giving you the quality of political education you need to be an informed citizen. I'm taking myself out of the running. So leave me in your inheritance. Also, go to thefunkyacademic.com and, kick down $5, $15, or $50 a month. Or just give me a one-time enormous donation, because I still have to pay rent. I just don't have, access to Bloomberg to do that for me.
And if you happen to be like one of those 7 through 20 richest people, we'll take $5 million from you.
I will take I might take $5 million from you. I have to think about it.
It has to be no strings.
No strings attached, but like there'll always kind of be no strings attached. But the thing is, I bite the hand that feeds me. I've been known, because I think justice comes from biting the hand. I have an entire video that says you can only get racial justice if justice means being able to bite the hand that feeds you. So I'm a biter of hands.
I was reading through something. I was reading through comments, and someone made a comment about you pandering, and I was like, to who? He's not saying anything Al Base even likes.
Yeah, he's nobody. All right, so there are all of these ways in which Bloomberg's money, the way we can't think about it, has subverted our democracy, because the conditions of democracy are frankly much more fragile than we admit. The game our checks and balances aren't made for him. They're just not built. Our nation isn't built for a person who could spend this kind of money.
I mean, Bloomberg could stand outside the studio right now and hand out $1 million to every single person out there and not even notice it.
Yeah. There are
a lot of people out there.
There are a lot of people out there. So he spent $351 million. I had a graph, but I haven't gotten it ready. If you go to my Facebook, it should be around. But he spent $351 million in ads, and he was talking about doubling it. The nearest person is Tom Steyer, and apparently if you're in South Carolina, you've seen Tom Steyer's ad, and he spent $128 million in ads, in the ad buy. And the nearest ad buy after that is Bernie with 34. So you understand the difference between $34 million and 351? That's 10-1.
Every employee is being handed about $2,500 worth of technology for just being an employee. Stuff, and it works all the time. I wish everything that we had worked. I had to switch cameras because I can't figure out why one of the reasons why we're late today is because the camera we would usually shoot the show on stopped working. Because I couldn't get the best stuff to give you this show. Yeah. I got to figure out how it works and maybe I can get it fixed. But all of Bloomberg, everything in Bloomberg's office works. His pens work. Because he didn't get the Bic set. Everything. Well, we talked about this a few weeks ago about how, job security is so dependent on having to kiss white behind.
That's the behind.
You can kiss just one.
This is the ad, right? Make it full size so people.
You can kiss just Bloomberg's and never have to tolerate another white person's ass.
Right.
That's
So Bloomberg spent 300, and this graph can't even capture. It's like a logarithmic graph because the difference between 10 and 50 and 50 and 150 seems like the same.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. It gives you the illusion that they're in the same kind of thing. But he's the same kind of thing in the way that a person and a dog are the same kind of thing. They're both animals, but they're not the same kind of thing.
No.
I always tell my students, I joke around about all right, so now that you've taken my class and you've gone through a year of college, you have no business. I teach freshmen. You have no business going to high school and sniffing around high school girls because now you're a different kind of thing. You're a different kind of thing now. Right, so Bloomberg, we're all the high schoolers, and Bloomberg is the college guy who he has more game than everybody else because he's a different animal now. Right, so we have to understand what Bloomberg means to democracy. I was on the fence about whether Bloomberg's a bigger threat to democracy than Trump. I actually think Bloomberg is, because he'll screw up an entire generation with the money he's throwing around. He'll screw up the conventional wisdom of the Democrats, right? So Trump was like wreaking havoc with Republicans. Bloomberg will screw up an entire generation of Democrats until I die. Right, so I'm not voting for Democrat. Like this vote blue no matter who stuff is first of all that was never gonna work with me for a few different reasons. And this idea that Trump is the worst thing that could ever happen with America, you don't know any difference between Trump's policies and Bloomberg's policies. And for black people, there is no difference. There is no difference between Trump and.
Someone said to me, they're like, you must hate poor people because you don't care if Trump gets reelected. I'm like, no, I just enjoy watching liberals lose their mind because his policies don't directly affect me.
Talk to all the poor people in New York. Yeah. You know where they are right now? Rikers.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a whole show.
That's the only other way to get 3 hots in the cot.
Bloomberg, there was no room for you. He called Manhattan a luxury good. Yeah. Which means there's no public housing. Like, there's no, like, living in New York right now is not for you poor people. And that's Bloomberg. So this idea that Bloomberg is going to make a difference for black people between Bloomberg and Trump doesn't. So like if you actually care about democracy, you have to ask serious questions about what Bloomberg does, because he's going to further policies and normalize policies that aren't going to be good for black people. And then like maybe he owns
Hasbro.
He owns Hasbro.
We're all playing with his money.
And
pretend.
People talk about like, well, Trump just flouts the rule of law. Right. Bloomberg will change the laws.
And remember,
like he's got the kind of money. He doesn't have to flout the laws. He will change the laws to fit. This is how we got the third term
in New York.
New York mayor. It had a term limits, and then Bloomberg's like, nah, I feel like being mayor now again, and so he got the money together to change the laws because he wanted a third term. Like that's what it means. That's what Bloomberg money means. It's not something we're ready for, and anyone who says like we're ready for it has been paid by Bloomberg. Or has an aspiration. And the media is not going to be
for his check.
The media is not going to be hard on him because there's something called Bloomberg News and Bloomberg Media Group. And like maybe they want one of their nieces and nephews to get an internship at Bloomberg Media Group. So like nobody's going to tell you about this except me at thefunkyacademic.com. So that's why you need, because I'm making myself down white unemployable by doing this. So I'm going to need you to send this video to all of your people because like I think I'm giving you the quality of political education that you should have gotten in your civics classes, but didn't. And I'll be honest, this primary election is going to be a test of American civics courses.
And morality.
Because either you'll know what the office of citizen means and how it can be distorted, or you won't. Right? So if you think marketing doesn't work, it works. That's why we have marketing agencies. So like the ads are going to work. And for people who are like too sophisticated to fall for the ads, all of these other mechanisms, or the ads don't get saturated. And he's pretty good at saturating. But like if the ads don't get saturated, like he's got all of these, he's paid off your pastor. He's also paid off your church debt.
Yeah. Well, and
what does that mean? He's paid off your whole denomination.
People who are
he's paid off the AMEs.
The marketing doesn't work.
Right.
Ask yourself, where's the beef?
Where's the beef?
I bet you all know where that came from. That's called marketing.
Marketing. Where's the beef? That's marketing because marketing works.
Yeah.
Diamond, the most famous marketing is De Beers, who just took over marriage with Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah, like that was a slogan. It took De Beers won, and now you don't have a real marriage unless you have a diamond.
My child the other day asked me, he's like, know what I mean, Vern? I was like, you weren't even born when that commercial was on. How do you know that? He's like,
no, marketing works. Marketing works. So Bloomberg's just he's bought our democracy, not just in the obvious ways, but all of the non-obvious ways. With Clinton, it was like, well, you can't go against Hillary Clinton, because she knows all the funders.
He is the funder.
Bloomberg is the funder.
This would also probably be a good point in time to point out that Army forgives no one.
Yeah, like, and if like Bloomberg can go on the dark web and order a hit on me, like that's like he got money to like say, oh, you know, I need to feed my kids. If he could spend like that's what kind of money. So if I end up disappeared for some reason, you need to ask if Bloomberg had me taken out. You need to ask that question. Yeah, and that's why you need to spend all this video. You need to spread this video around now. Because like Bloomberg
it's still on YouTube.
Well, it's still on YouTube because like although I didn't say anything nearly as controversial as I usually say, this might get disappeared. I don't know.
You know, there was an article about decriminalization and what that really means. Decriminalization of things means the wealthy can just pay the fine.
Yeah, like decriminalization. I'm going to do a whole thing on the myth of decriminalization and how that doesn't lead to justice. And honestly, in LA's got an interesting position because it's run by like nice hippie Democrats and like also very wealthy people. So pretty much, it's got a huge homeless problem. And black homeless problem because they didn't do what they did in New York where they put them all in jail, but they also don't have a real economic plan. So you just have we can only really enforce laws on people who could pay, but this homeless population can't pay. So it's just got a bunch like homelessness in LA it's black men, up to from 40 to 50% black men, and it's just that's what happens when you just decriminalize everything without an economic plan. So I'm for decriminalizing things, but I'm also for like you need an economic plan, you need a federal job guarantee, you need some sort of way and a housing guarantee, and you need all of these other like good governance issues. I'm going to talk about that later. This was just about Bloomberg and what that money means. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you send it all around because I'm giving you the quality of political education that America needs to hear. But instead,
especially with Mike Bloomberg running around,
especially because Mike Bloomberg's giving another kind of political education that's being uncontested. So I need you to distribute this as if it were a Bloomberg video. Because I'll be honest, I bet you like this video gets cut halfway through with a Bloomberg commercial, and then like it'll come back and see me talking. Like there was
the monetization on this is going to be Bloomberg.
Yeah. Kept popping up on Bloomberg ads are popping up.
Oh, yeah. I just had this conversation with someone. Their kids thought his last name was Will because they're on YouTube seeing videos about Mike Will. And so they thought
Mike will get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he's offering, but what Bloomberg's offering is I'll take care of your government.
Like don't worry about it.
Don't worry about government.
You
just worry about your private little thing. I'll take care of government. As opposed to Bernie saying, not me, us, as in like we need to take our government back. He's like, no, I'll handle this.
I got this.
I'm offering you very efficient, like authoritarian, fascist, like oligarchic control. That and a lot of people are like, well, you know, and if you're black in the South, you're like, well, government never done anything for me anyway. So it's gonna seem good. All right, so that's all I got to say. Matthew, do you have a microphone? Yeah. What's on your mind?
I remember back in like 2016, 2017, well, 2016 really, there's a lot of like internet talk about how like Hillary has just like tons of informants out there. She has so many people online. There's so many bots out there. At the time, it seemed kind of ridiculous, but now that Mike Bloomberg is spending so much money, like he's literally paying people on Instagram to talk good about it. It's like, well, damn, they're not even bots anymore. They're real people.
He's like bots are more... like the algorithm costs like it's more efficient just to buy like random influencers. There's a funny joke.
It ain't hard.
There's a funny joke about World War II, not World War II, World War I. I think it was World War I. The Russians ran out of bullets, but like they just started throwing more Russians at them. Yeah, like I think it was World War II too. Stalin we ran out of bullets, so we just like throw and the Russians were still using bayonets. No, it must have been World War I because the Russians were still using bayonets and they just started
putting
more Russians at them. And a little bit of World War II. The Russian casualty in World War II is huge on the Eastern Front. Yeah, we ran out of weapons and bombs, so we just kept throwing Russians. This is what Bloomberg's doing. Like, I was joking, like he could just go and just buy South Carolina by just giving every Negro $500. I was joking, but then like I don't know. I mean, he could, but this is probably cheaper.
$500. Not a lot. However, $6,000, and I'm pretty. I mean, above the median.
For a vote, $500 is
Yeah.
a lot of money. You can buy a lot of votes for $500 a vote.
I would probably still lie, and I mean, I would take.
You
it,
take
but
the
I
money
would
and lie. But like this is, and you're buying your silence. Like with Michael Thurman. Well, Michael Thurman, he just got straight up the endorsement. But with Stacey Abrams, you've bought. She's going to keep her mouth shut about everyone else.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't buy her endorsement,
she ain't endorsing nobody else.
She's not endorsing. She's not saying nothing but nothing for $5 million, and she's trying to do good work with that money.
Yeah.
Right. So that's all I want to talk to you about. Take care, and I will see you next week.